Lex, thanks so much for being with me today. I'm so excited to chat with you and have a conversation around sales. Lex Moschakis is with Habits at Work, and that is it's just such a cool organization that really helps take sales teams to the next level. Lex, I'll give a little bit of background on you. I know you're originally from South Australia, but you've traveled a lot. You've been a lawyer, and I think you told me that you actually started selling wine in Malaysia, and that is where you really fell in love with sales.
I did. That was my first sales job and certainly not the last. It was an incredible experience.
Yeah, what other industries have you worked in since then?
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in legal, so I was really able to apply the legal background, which is great. A little bit of time in cybersecurity and fintech as well. And now I have the pleasure, of course, of working with many different industries.
Awesome. And now you're a facilitator at Habits at Work, right? And that is where you basically like help teams that drive revenue for organizations, master things like being able to have really good conversation skills. And then also Habits at Work is obviously around habits. So creating really good habits that really help you basically be a better person, be a better human. So thanks for joining me. I'm excited to be able to chat with you. I know we talked Absolutely. I know we talked a little bit about, some questions and some topics to discuss today. And really the one that is always on the tip of my mind is, sometimes sales gets a really bad rap. Today, you hear that somebody's a salesperson, you're like, ugh, like it's kind of cringy. You think of like a used car salesman, but that's to me not what sales is. So what really is selling?
Yeah, I know the used car salesperson and it is cringy. I do think we've come a long way from that, but I think there is a lot of work to be done to have us feeling like coming home and saying, yes, I'm a salesperson, or going to college to pursue sales. And I think the way that we do that is continue to move towards this place of we are helping people make progress in what it is that we do. And we're able to provide value for our customers along the way, just through the conversations that we have. We can lose sight of the fact sometimes that we are experts in what we do, and we do provide a ton of value just through the conversations that we have. And so I'm continuing to move towards and embrace this idea of I'm helping a human being solve a problem.
Yep.
And while we might go to bed thinking about our products as salespeople, our customers don't. They go to bed thinking about their problem. And what we are uniquely positioned to do is help them solve that. And I think that's pretty remarkable. And I know our profession is continuing to move forward and there's more work to be done, but we can't lose sight of the impact that we have as human beings on other people's lives.
Oh, I love that. It's almost like a paradigm shift where salespeople, maybe in the past, or that idea that people have is that salespeople are so concerned with their revenue and their business. But in reality, a good salesperson and where we're trying to get sales to go is that they're concerned about their clients' revenue. They're concerned about their clients' problems, not so much themselves. And it really is a big shift on how to look at that and that role.
Yeah.
I really love that what you said. I like that a lot.
Yeah. And for us to show up in that way and as trusted advisors and to really form a relationship, we have to believe that ourselves.
For sure.
We have to believe it for our customers to believe it.
Absolutely. And, sales in an organization is a really big role. It's a big responsibility. Salespeople are the revenue drivers. They're what put gas in the tank for a company to keep going. And that can be a lot of pressure. And then there are some organizations that, maybe don't have the best practices or ways that they care for their salespeople. And I think mental health is really, we've talked about that. And mental health is an issue for salespeople today in this environment. Why is it such a concern for sales?
It is such a good question. And look, it's not just salespeople, it's everybody. We are under so much pressure. We have goals that we need to hit. We do a lot of hard work. It's not easy to cold call all day and then to sit back and let it go. So we have to be really intentional with how it is that we take care of ourselves as reps individually, but also as managers leading the team. You are the ones that can create that environment for self-care and to drive performance. And that is, I think, one of the most important things a manager can do. But thinking at the individual level, it's really important to understand what your North Star is. Mm-hmm. We're not in sales just to hit quota. Yes, we need to do that. Yes, we need to do all of the things that allow us to be successful. But that's not what's driving us in life. And I think we can lose sight of that sometimes. So what is the thing that you get excited about? What is the thing that gives you energy in your day? And for me, it's getting to work with so many phenomenal people, helping them develop habits and helping them really excel in their life.
Yeah.
For others, maybe it's the impact that they have within their industry. Maybe they're really excited about the change that comes in the world from their product impact. There are so many different things that we can be thinking about. So really understanding what that North Star is helps all the things, or helps put into context all of the things that we do as sellers. And then finding the space and the time for the things that give us energy. Imagine if we were as diligent with things that we love doing that recharge us as we are with the number of calls that we make or the number of emails that we send. We need to find those things and protect them and do them if we're going to be successful. Because if we're not in a good place from a mental health standpoint, we can't show up authentically. We can't show up connecting with humans, our customers, because we're not rooted in where we are ourselves. So I think it's a mental health imperative, but it is also a business imperative too.
Oh, I absolutely love that. I think it's 100% true. And even like for me, I'm actually an introvert, but I'm in sales and I talk to people all the time. And I do get energy from one-on-one conversations, but I really need to find time to recharge that's quiet and can help me recenter. And when I don't do that, I notice, my mental attitude suffers, my sales suffer. So like you said, absolutely just being as diligent with things that, help you care for yourself as those KPIs that we as all salespeople have. I love that. So habits at work, again, we talked about like there's habits, there are sales habits that we can get into that really help us improve our performance, be better people, and help, move our profession forward. So what really is a sales habit, and like, how can we as salespeople help encourage each other to do them?
Yeah, sure. I think it's important to start with what a habit is, because there are many misconceptions in our view around what a habit actually is. People think of it as being something you just do automatically, or once you've done it for a certain period of time, it just sticks.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that's not true for anybody who's quit a gym membership or, stopped doing something for a whole host of reasons that were beyond their control. Just the nature of time we do it does not make it a habit, nor does it make it a habit if we do it at a subconscious level. So to flip that, we say that a habit is something that we continuously do with the intention to get better over time. And that intention to get better is key, because complacency is just where sales fails. When we think, I've got this and I don't need to practice it, it's fine, I know how to do this like the back of my hand. That's where we fall down as salespeople, because the market doesn't allow for us to be complacent.
Right.
And there is so much competition out there. So having a great product, working really hard, those things are important, but they're not going to get us to where we need to go if we're not practicing the habits to support them and doing it deliberately. So the first one that I will always talk about is feedback.
Oh, yeah.
What is the feedback culture in your organization? How are you getting feedback that you need to grow? And again, that is on managers to make sure they're finding the time to do that, because feedback really is the force multiplier for everything that you do. And if you're getting just a little bit of feedback every day, and you're getting that over the course of a year, as an example, I think it's 240 working days in a year or something like that. On that skill, you're going to be 10 times better at the end of that year than what you were when you started. And that's just taking a couple of minutes to give feedback. So I think that is the key, and that is a cultural habit within your organization. That is something that teams need to implement, I believe, if they are to be successful. And then I think another big one, Amanda, and it's not going to surprise you that I'm so passionate about this, is just learning how to listen. How often do you actually practice listening?
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. Like, nobody deliberately practices what it means to listen to another human and to relate to them. And that's a real miss in our profession, because think about how you feel when somebody listens to you.
Mm-hmm.
There is nobody I have ever met who I thought was a great listener that I didn't like.
Yep.
I've
That's so
asked
true.
that question to thousands of people in our work, and nobody's ever challenged that. So as salespeople, if you can show up listening empathically, making that person feel heard and understood and not just dumping product on the table,
Mhm.
that's how they're going to relate to you as a human and really want to work with you. Because our customers, they do the research beforehand, they understand the market. The way that we can differentiate is being the one that they want to work with. And we can do that through the listening, through how we ask questions,
Mhm.
preparing them deliberately, but then being quiet and actually listening to the answer that we hear.
Oh, I love all of that. And, you know, thinking about feedback, I love Carol Dweck's mindset,
Yes.
having a growth mindset. And, you know, a lot of times salespeople want to come in and own it every time. And in order to get a sales job, you have to be good at sales, but you also need to be, like you said, willing to get feedback and to change and to grow. And that, for me, that took a while in my career to really like feedback, and now I love it. There might be times where it's still a little bit uncomfortable, but being comfortable in the uncomfortable is so important. And listening for sure, you know, being present when people are talking to you. If you're always thinking about what you're going to say next, your product. Um, there's a quote, I think it's by Maya Angelou, but I could be totally wrong, where she says that people don't remember what you say to them, but they remember how you make them feel. And if you're
They
not
forget what
listening,
you said, they'll forget what you did, but they won't forget how
yeah,
you made them feel. That's
yeah,
exactly right. Yeah.
yeah, 100%.
I
Well,
love that quote. And I love that you bring up Carol Dweck. I think this idea of a mindset shift can feel like quite monumental and quite challenging. But when you think about implementing habits, start small. It doesn't have to be reshifting your world. Start with a little thing and then grow it. Commit to 5 minutes a day to get feedback on a skill from your manager and see how that 5 minutes compounds over time and create the environment that allows you to do it. I think there is a real hesitation around forming habits because it feels like this big hard thing and we think we have to commit to an hour of work a day, and it's not that at all. A little bit consistently can have a huge impact on performance and the way that you feel showing up as a salesperson.
mhm, 100%. Well, I have to say, you've made me feel really excited about my job. I mean, I love sales. I love what I do, but I really enjoy talking with you because it's nice to chat with somebody that is more about you know, like that listening and getting feedback, and really almost the character traits that we need to have more
Yeah.
than the tactics that we need to employ. And I think that's a really interesting way to look at it.
Yeah. The tactics shouldn't go anywhere. We need them,
Right.
but have a foundation of those skills that allow you to connect as a human. That's how we help our customers make progress and provide value. And in doing so, hit our quota.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much again. And I hope that we can chat again soon.
Thank you, Amanda. It's been a pleasure.